Psychology of people who forget names easily.
Do you forget names easily?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Me too.
Yes, I'm not going to lie. There are a lot of family members. I still can't recall their names. I'm like,
well, no,
I
that's...
know it does like this, but I forget.
No.
I forget.
No, it's not the... Well, you know how names are different here than they're in India. And so if you forget those names, that's not the same thing as forgetting names that are like, that you're more used to.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. But
do you forget
names.
People here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it after. My dad doesn't remember my name half the time. But then again, there are 5 of us.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
Done it again. You're standing directly in front of someone you've met at least 3 times, maybe 4, and their name is just gone. Not even hovering at the tip of your tongue, just completely, cleanly absent, like it was never filed anywhere in the first place.
That's it.
And the worst part isn't even the forgetting. It's the next 12 seconds of pure improvised theater you're about to perform, subtly angling your body,
like all
desperately
the
hoping someone else in the room says their name
cousins
first.
and their kids, and I just keep forgetting names, and I'm like, oh, how's the...
Yeah. Oh, it's so good to see you. How have you been? You avoid saying the name forever.
Yeah.
Forever, because you just can't remember.
And then mother helps me out. I'm like, yeah, that person.
Well, normally what I do is I'll talk to them for a minute and be like, all right, I gotta go. I'll have to talk to somebody else. And then I'll keep my ear out for when someone else sees them and then they say their name. That's how I try to do it. And like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Of course, I forget by the next time. I always forget, but that's how I do it.
Or that their phone rings, or that the building catches fire. We've all been there, sure, but the people who do this most frequently, who chronically, consistently forget names, are not careless or rude, and they're almost certainly not as unintelligent as they've been silently led to believe. There's actually something very specific happening in their brains, and once you understand it, you'll never feel guilty about it the same way again. So let's start with when you meet someone new. Your brain is doing an enormous amount of work simultaneously, reading their face, registering tone and figuring out context, calculating where you stand socially and whether this person likes you or whether you even like them, thinking about what you're...
That's already more information than what I do. I literally don't even care about... I'm the type of person, like, I will talk to I remember doing this in college and people looked at me like I was weird. So I started talking to someone at like the cafeteria. I was talking with him, talking about like film equipment and like the setup he had and what he was trying to do. 3 years later, I met him in the cafeteria and I continued the conversation I was happy having with him back before. He looked at me like I was crazy. I didn't remember his name, but I remembered the conversation and what we were talking about. And I continued it as if we had never stopped the conversation. But that's how my mind works, because I guess I just run things as a film in my mind. So that character in my life was literally put to the side and then returned to my life, like eventually, like, you know, in a show where they'll come back and then all of a sudden everybody remembers everything about this character because they were just introduced. That's how my brain restores, categorizes information. I don't remember their names.
Well, that's a little weird.
Yeah, but I always thought it was strange.
Like,
they look at me like I was weird.
For me, it's like I meet somebody, like we talk or something, and then few days later, I meet them on the street, and they're talking to me nicely because I talked to them nicely in the first place.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, how are you? How are things going?" I'm like, "Great." And then they leave, and then for the next hour or so, I keep wondering who that person is. Who is that person? Who is that person? And then I finally asked somebody, like my mother or whoever is with me, I'm like, do you remember who this is? And then she tells me, oh, this is the person you met last week. And I'm like, oh, of course.
It's weird, especially with women, because they change their hair, their clothing. Guys
no,
never really bothered.
but that person, I literally met them a week ago.
Yeah. You just completely forgot.
She was the shop owner where I was going for things, and then I was talking with her. I had her phone number. I WhatsApped her and everything. And then a week later she meets me on the street and she's talking to me just normally, and I keep looking at her face like, I don't know who you are. And I kept thinking, oh, maybe it's somebody from my university or somebody from my college, or I don't know who they are.
But that's the thing, is like memory works differently. Like for me, I know it's weird. I didn't think it was weird at the time because I spent most of my childhood in the hospital or in my room sick. So I didn't actually have like a social faux pas, or what is it? The ability to socialize, communication. I lacked all those skills. I literally was, and still am, completely blunt. I speak my mind to the point where I'm insulting. I don't mean to be, but I just speak my mind. I see something, I say what I see. Sometimes it's ruder than I mean for it to be, but at the same time, it's better for people to hear honesty than sugarcoating, because some people can't understand sugarcoating, or they take it the wrong way. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was, because he looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm just like, well, have a good courses. Have good courses this year. And I just got my meal and ate by myself. But
well, at least you remembered what conversation you had. That's
Yeah,
already
I
so
don't
much
remember
more
the name.
than I do.
I don't remember the name, but I remember the conversation. I remember the setting, the context, everything.
I don't. Like, I need, whenever somebody meets me, I need them to at least tell me a little bit, so my brain can be like,
Yeah.
oh, this person. Okay, yeah, I remember you.
Yeah, but it's very common for people to forget names for some
even,
reason.
like, in the school or whatever, those people, when they send me requests or something, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is.
Oh, yeah,
And then I
yeah.
keep looking at their photo and trying to remember, and I'm like, oh, they have mutual friends. They're
Yeah,
probably
from
from my
school.
college.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew this person. He was this. He was this. He was this. I'm like, okay.
That's so.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Supposed to say next. Your working memory, the short-term holding space in your prefrontal cortex, is essentially juggling 6 things at once, and into that exact moment of cognitive chaos, someone hands you a single arbitrary sound, their name. Hi, I'm Kevin.
That is
Kevin.
true.
Okay, Kevin doesn't mean anything. It doesn't connect to anything you already know. It doesn't trigger a concept, an image, a feeling, or an association. It just sits there, isolated, in a brain that is frankly too busy to babysit it. Psychologists actually have a name for why this happens. In 1987, researchers McWeeny and Ellis published a fascinating study demonstrating what's now called the Baker-Baker paradox. They told one group of participants that a person in a photo was a baker by profession, and told a separate group that the same person's surname was Baker. Days later, the people who learned the occupation remembered it far more easily than the people who learned it as a name. Same word, completely different retention, because the word baker, as a job,
I know
activates
a
a whole
baker.
web of associations. Flour, bread, early mornings.
He was my boss
warmth.
at a certain point
As
in
a
time.
name, it activates nothing. It floats there, rootless. Names, by their very nature, are semantically empty, and your brain, efficient machine that it is, preferentially holds on to things that mean something. Think about the last funeral you attended. You probably remember the smell of the flowers, the specific silence in the room, who ended up crying the most, a sentence someone said that resonated with you deep in your chest.
This might sound bad, but the last funeral I was attended, I was hired as a photographer to document the whole thing.
So, what did you remember?
I was taking pictures. I probably still have the photos somewhere. I was taking pictures of like just the so they were having like family portraits done. They were having like the whole family
At the
together.
funeral?
Yep, at the funeral. At the meet together afterwards where everyone sits down and eats. That's where I was doing like family portraits. But like at the funeral, I was getting them putting roses on the coffin. I was getting them like it's more
So
of a,
you remember a lot.
not of
from
who was
that.
crying, but I remember I was there to take pictures. I was there to take pictures. I was there to do a job. It's weird. It's weird. Who hires someone to do a funeral photography? But I'm not gonna lie. It was a nice experience. It was a really nice experience. But
When
at the same
was
time,
this?
it was when I was working at the church. It was when I was working
So
at
like
the church.
10 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. It's been a while.
You do not remember what was written
I'm
on the order of
old.
service, because your brain made a decision without consulting you about what mattered, and it was not the printed text. It was never the printed text. Names are the order of service. Everything else about a person is the funeral. Now, where it might get a little uncomfortable because it's more personal than most people want to admit, a significant portion of chronic name forgetters are people who are extremely in their own heads during social interactions, though in an anxious way rather than an arrogant one. While the other person is introducing themselves, these people are internally narrating. Am I making enough eye contact? Is this handshake too firm? Did I just interrupt them? The name enters, briefly, and then the internal monologue bulldozes straight over it. This is actually documented. There's a phenomenon called the
I can believe it. I can believe it. My wife was just staring at me like, yep, that seems completely accurate. Yeah, for me, it's just like names. I don't know why they just don't seem to hold as much value, I guess. I prefer like the context of what's being talked about over like some random person's name. In my opinion, on psychology videos is they are the most general things. You can watch these after video yourself either. Superiority thought cycle and inferiority. I mean, yeah. I mean, technically you can. A lot of things are general. It kind of reminds me of
like the zodiac.
Yes, I was about
astrology.
to say.
It's 10 signs that you're an Aquarius man.
And it's
10
like,
signs that you're
it
a
applies
Taurus man.
to everybody.
Who are the 4 most attractive zodiac signs?
And it's like you're reading all the zodiac signs, and I'm just like, hey, this is me. And then you flip to another page with a completely different zodiac sign that doesn't even identify you. Hey, this is me. This is me. Every time. Because they're generic. They're absolutely generic. They're made to be that way. So everyone. And then, of course, they're the women in the, like the U.S. that view them as like, oh, because I'm an Aquarius, I can't be with an Aries.
Or a Capricorn.
Or Capricorn. They just can't get along. I'm sorry. We just don't mesh. Like that kind of nonsense. It is ridiculous that the fact that people actually think that that's a real thing.
Next in
Well,
line effect.
I think that thing started before the gender thing started.
Yeah, it
I
did.
think people
It did.
started
It
doing,
did.
oh, what's your zodiac sign? And now they do, oh, what's your pronouns?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's the same thing. Like I used to watch the zodiac things because I used to feel special and stuff. And I'm like, ooh, let's see. And now it's just like, ugh, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Again, I've always seen those kinds of things as something fun. Like even self-help books. Every single one you read, they are exactly the same. Stop being self-pitying. Stop being self-aggrandizing and start being sorry for yourself. Set yourself a small goal, achieve that goal, and then set yourself another goal, achieve that goal. That's literally what every single self-help book is. They're all exactly the same. And I remember I went through a period just going through them because they were just so funny. Because it was just like, literally, I could write my own self-help book. And I was actually writing one. I'm just like, they're too many. They're too many.
My father used to buy the self-help books. And, they have stories in them.
Yeah.
I would never read the whole thing. I would just only flip through pages, go to the story, flip the pages, go to the next story. And I'm like, oh, a storybook. I would never read it as a self-improvement thing or it's supposed to help me with something.
Well, it's always nice to see like what those people created out of nothing. The companies, the people who literally went on hard times and then built an empire out of their struggle. It's always inspiring, but that's why I like watching movies like Rocky, where it's literally the underdog story. People watch those things for a reason. You feel motivated after the fact. I feel like exercising after watching a film like that. Do I exercise? No. Just like when I read a self-help book, do I change any of my habits? No, because I feel like I'm doing good already. I'm already very active. I'm already doing but yeah, I do need to exercise. Yeah, but that is true. That is true. I need to watch more of those underdog films and then be like, I need to start pumping iron. I need to start lifting weights.
And then you're going to start dreaming about exercising and then you're going to be tired when you wake up because you'll be like, I just exercised in my dream.
Yeah, but again, a lot of the stuff is exactly the same. Zodiac signs, self-help books, but it's always fascinating to go through it. But you have to watch it, go through it as entertainment. You can't go through it as a
form of validation.
Yeah, just like with finances. Like if you're going through like Ramsey, Jeff Ramsey, not Gordon Ramsay.
I'd want Gordon Ramsay for financial stuff.
Yeah, for financial. There's the Caleb Hammer. What is there? Don't go into debt. Make sure you pay off your bills first. It's like very common, very rudimentary type of stuff. But you watch it because it's entertaining. You go through it because it's entertaining, and you realize that there actually are retards out there that can't seem to understand how finances work. But again, it's the same thing with like the self-help books. It's the same thing with like these psychology things. It's the same thing with Zodiac. You do it because it makes you feel good about yourself. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
First documented in 1973 by psychologist Malcolm Brenner, where people waiting to speak in a group, anticipating their own turn, showed dramatically reduced memory for what the person directly before them said.
Yeah, because they need to remember what they're going to say.
Already moved on, already preparing the next thing to say. They're editing themselves in real time.
Oh, I remember once. I rarely went to school growing up because I was so sick, but I remember one time I went. It was in It was in high school. And I went to class, and it was supposed to be like the first week of the year. And everyone was supposed to introduce themselves. So I think it was the first day. Everyone was introducing their name, and you were supposed to name every person in line who had said their names. So I was remembering everyone's name. And then one person came up who said their name so freaking slowly that my brain couldn't register it. And then everyone else said their name normally. And then it came to my turn. I said every single person's name except the one person who said his name slowly. And I said, it's because he said his name slowly. And then I said everyone else's name. And then the teacher said, some people just like making excuses. I already I got up. I forgot exactly what I said. I basically belittled him, and then I walked out of class. And then I got sick later after, and I never returned to the class. But yeah, it was just, some people process things differently. And when people talk slow, like very slow, and this is
What are you saying? That's not how people
said
say. No,
his
that's not slow.
name. And I couldn't process it.
You're trying to sound like the Flash from Zootopia.
Basically, I have trouble understanding him too. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, because there is a certain kind of cadence where people speak at, which is just normal. But when people go way too slow, it becomes too difficult for me. It becomes way too difficult for me. But yeah, that's something that bothered me. It's just like, yeah, everyone has different processing speeds.
And people who live with social anxiety, or even just a hyperactive self-awareness, are essentially stuck in that mode permanently. Never quite here, always half a step into what comes next, which means the moment a name is actually offered to them, they're already somewhere else. If that's you,
I was somewhere else
you don't
right
have
now.
a memory problem, you have a preoccupation problem. Those are very different things. There's also something worth saying about the people on the other end
There
of
you
this,
are.
the people whose names get forgotten, because the emotional sting of it is genuinely real, and it would be unjust to pretend otherwise. Having
It's
your
so,
name forgotten, especially...
My name doesn't get forgotten. It just gets twisted, and it becomes something else that it's not. And people have always had a hard time, saying my name or writing my name, and it always pisses me off. But for some reason, they always remember it. Just they remember how it sounds like, and they just make stuff on their own. And I'm like, well, compared to me, who doesn't know anything about you, you still remember a lot about me.
Yeah.
So-
Then you feel bad for
Yeah.
not remembering. But
Yeah.
yeah, that seems to happen.
repeatedly lands like a small but pointed message. You didn't matter enough to stick. That's
True.
how it feels, even if it's completely wrong. That's what the brain hears, and the brain doesn't always take the rational approach.
Nope.
The person who forgot your name probably thought about the conversation you had afterwards. They remember what you said about your sister, or the specific way you laughed at something. Maybe you had an odd take that stuck.
Speaking of laughing, there is someone at work whose laugh I can't stand. I can't stand it. It's the weird kind of forced laugh where you don't know if it's real or if they've faked laughing so much it's become real. The new full-time. The new full-time. Okay, you're not gonna pick it up, but yeah, it's so freaking aggravating. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, why are you fake laughing? There's no reason to laugh right now. But that's how I know it's fake. But the thing is, even when she's trying to laugh for real, it's the same fake laugh. So I think she was one of those people who just didn't know how to socialize, that they thought laughing at things was the best way to get through it.
That
Now
or
they're faking it.
No. A lot of people fake laugh and stuff just to look more social. Yeah. And you never talked about this woman with me before.
Because he brought up the laugh, and I'm like, oh, that triggered me. I was just like, oh my gosh, that fake laugh. That fake laugh. Everyone knows someone like that who has that fake laugh that you can't tell. Like, it's absolutely fake. It's absolutely, there's no way that's a real laugh. But it aggravates me. It aggravates me every time.
With them. They were there. They were just not quite there for the name part. And this is the thing about memory that most people fundamentally misunderstand. It's not a recording. Your brain doesn't store experiences the way a hard drive stores files. It stores impressions, emotions, patterns, fragments, and it prioritizes ruthlessly. High emotion, stored. Surprising? Stored. Connected to something you already know? Stored. One arbitrary syllable handed to you at the exact moment you were busy trying to seem normal in front of a stranger? Good luck. People who forget names easily often have something else in common. They tend to be highly associative thinkers. Their memory is richly contextual. They remember stories and feelings, the look on someone's face when they said something that mattered. Ask them what someone was wearing at a party 3 years ago, they might actually tell you. Ask them the name of the person standing next to them, blank, because their brain was cataloging everything except the label. This isn't a flaw in the mind, it's just a particular architecture, one that is frankly better suited to storytelling, to emotional attunement, to the kind of listening that makes people feel genuinely understood, and worse suited to the specific mechanical task of holding and remembering what someone was called under social pressure. None of this means you shouldn't try to get better at it, by the way. Repeating someone's name back immediately when you meet them, connecting it to a visual or a person you already know, these things work, and they work because you're doing manually what your brain refuses to do automatically, building the association that wasn't there. You're essentially constructing a little bridge between Kevin and something that already has a place in your mental landscape. But the shame spiral, the quiet, low-grade belief that forgetting names makes you an uncaring person, someone who moves through the world without really registering other people, that part is wrong. And it's worth saying clearly, because a lot of people carry it without ever examining where it came from or whether it's actually true. You are not absent or dismissive. You are someone whose brain prioritizes differently, gets hijacked by its own internal weather, and sometimes fails at the single least interesting thing about a person, the arbitrary sound their parents assigned them before they'd done a single thing worth remembering. The name was always the least of it. What you remember about people, the real stuff, the texture of who they are, that part, that's still there. That's been there the whole time. If you're interested in exploring...
I mean, there's a reason why nicknames tend to actually stick harder than actual names. Because there's something about the person that a nickname seems to stand out more than their actual name. Just how it works. It's just how it works.
Some of my explanations further, I've put together a collection of books that dive deeper into psychology,
simplified.
human behavior, and independent thinking. You can find the full list on my bookshop page through the link in the description and pinned comment. And if you enjoy content like this, consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads.
Try not to laugh challenge. You know, I've been meaning, I probably should. People go quiet when hurt. Yeah, I need to try a try not to laugh challenge. I really do. But yeah, that's the thing, is like a lot of that stuff, of course, like I was saying, a lot of the self-help, a
Well,
lot of
I'm
the
gonna
Zodiac,
win because my emoji is just gonna remain the same, so you'll never know if I laughed or not. I'm just gonna mute my mic and have that emoji. So it's an easy win for me.
Yeah, and it won't be that fake laugh. That is the laugh. That's the laugh. That's the laugh.
Well, some people have weird laughs.
I know.
Have you seen the video where they invited all the people with weird laughs and they started laughing and it was
And then they can't stop laughing.
and then everybody's laughing in a weird way. It just gets
Yeah, it's literally like H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A. That's literally how the person laughs. It's like, nobody laughs like that. Like, nobody laughs like that. Are you a machine? It's like... It's like in Spanish, ja, 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 ja. Ja, 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 ja.
Yeah, the first time I read that, I'm like, why are they writing a J instead of H?
Ja,
And
ja,
then
ja,
I'm like,
ja, ja.
oh,
Oh, it's
they mix
Yeah,
their
yeah.
J's and H.
Yeah, because the J is an H sound. But yeah, I mean, again, it's always fun to watch those kinds of things now and again, because it's like everyone can relate. Who actually remembers names? Like my brother, he's has a very up their job, so he makes it a point to always remember someone's name. And one of the best ways to do it is, once you learn someone's name, you say it back to them immediately. It's like, oh, it's so nice to meet you, so and so. I don't do that. I just go, hey, and then I forget their name immediately, because most of the time I just don't care enough to do that. Some laughs are bird sounds. Yeah, that.
And one of those sounds like whistle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And one of the guys had like a girl laugh.
Oh.
I need to find that video so we can watch it.
Yeah, we can check it out. But yeah, like there's also like the sneezes. My wife doesn't sneeze.
I sneeze.
That's a sneeze.
No, I sneeze.
It's like, come on, just
I
achoo.
sneeze.
Just get it out. Get it out.
Okay.
Low key, you literally have that laugh. Probably. Yeah, but it's not as jarring as Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I can't stand it, because I have the same exact laugh. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, but to me, it just seems so freaking jarring every time I hear it. Every time I hear it.
You guys got a video? Why is it so bad?
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Why is it like that?